Welcome to the InfoTech Growth Partner Podcast, the podcast where the future of IT unfolds, and we dive deep into the pertinent developments in regards to IT and data with leaders and experts within the IT consulting field. My name is Jasper, and today I have the distinct pleasure to have Ed Soltani from Smile IT Solutions with me. Ed, thanks for joining. Welcome on the show.
Thanks for inviting me to your podcast. Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome. For the listeners, for the viewers, can you give us a bit of an introduction into your own background, what you guys do at Smile IT Solutions, and what your role within the company is?
Yeah, I've always worked in IT for the past 25 years. It's always been my passion. The technology has been my passion for a long time, and it's always. I think I started university a long time ago, and I would say that was a turning point for me because it has opened my eyes into a lot of possibilities. And since then, when I came out, I've been in different roles within IT, starting from working with networks, hardware, and then moving on into software development. Uh, and I also have worked as an auditor within the IT industry, within the IT field, which has opened my eyes to risk and compliance, which has been a great experience working with in the financial services as an IT auditor. But um, I mean, it's been 10 years that I have uh, founded my own company, Smile IT Solutions. And within this company, I have started as a solopreneur, working as a software developer, developing one of the most modernized applications within a legacy industry, like energy industry in UK. And since then, we have moved into different sectors as well, like IT. We have moved into different business lines, IT services and support. And also we have worked within cloud for the past 3 years, and that has been our biggest focus recently. So we kind of not lost the touch to the development side of things, but we moved our traditional software development into being more of a cloud native developers these days. And we are partners with most cloud vendors, AWS, Google, and Microsoft Azure. But our focus is mainly on AWS because that's been the one that we have been able to get a public sector partner, qualified software partner, and also the select service partner designations. And we are working towards getting more out of that. My role, as I said, I started as a software developer, then became the CTO of the company, and then I have moved myself up the ranks. So I haven't started as a CEO, but I was always the founder, but I'm not the CEO. So in the recent years, with delegating my responsibilities and building the team, I have managed to move on to a CEO role.
Awesome. So you've seen all of the things, and you've climbed through the ranks, and you've experienced all of the difficulties and challenges in each of these roles,
Yeah,
which is, I think,
definitely.
a very
It
good
was
thing.
always great, yeah, to be
And you
involved in.
already talked about the partnerships that you have with cloud vendors. We'll go into a bit more detail later into that as well. Um, you talked about legacy systems. Of course, there's a lot of modernization needed in most companies, especially in energy, is what you mentioned. I've been working in an energy company myself, and
Oh,
a
great.
product owner there, where I was responsible for a business critical application, and I
Mm-hmm.
was sort of in between the outside developers, the actual technical people, and my inside colleagues who were actually using those systems. And I've seen that, yeah, those developments, and the need for modernizing those legacy systems. Can you tell us a bit about how those legacy systems in these industries, as like energy, for example, pose challenges to cloud adoption, and the strategies that you've found very effective in addressing these challenges?
There are a lot of challenges when it comes to legacy applications, especially when you work in an industry that is regulated and needs a lot of security and compliance built around it. You can't just go in and change things or interrupt BAU. I mean, the businesses would suffer if you do that. But the point here is modernizing is an art. I would say it's not one solution fits all, and you have to be very good at analyzing businesses when it comes to understanding the requirements, when it comes to understanding what is it that the client does, how do they serve the customer, what is it that is important to them and the industry itself. But for me, the biggest challenge is that you deal with a lot of tech companies within that industry to kind of be able to connect to, for example, government gateways, or being able to report to a lot of organizations that have not modernized because of either they don't have the budget, or they have not had the technical, or they haven't seen the need yet. Because you have to use those tech systems, right? You can't go elsewhere. It's one solution. That's it. And my biggest challenge has been to be able to kind of modernize on the other side, where we are building applications, but also consider the integration with those systems without breaking any of the functionality, or without breaking the links. But I would say the other challenges are the cost. So when you try to do that, the cost goes up because you need to do more development. You need to develop the same functionality for different vendors or third parties, and that's been a big challenge. But tackling it, as I said, it's you got to tackle them one by one. You can't go big bang and do everything at once. You need to be very careful of what you do with the systems. But it's possible. I would say it's possible. It has happened for us. We have done it, and we have managed to be very successful into even moving to cloud fully for those applications, building cloud native functionality, and as well as that, even the cost of the development, that is an investment. It has resulted in saving a lot of operational costs and optimizing the cost of running the application later in the stages, when you just leave the application to do what it needs to do.
Wow.
It seems like a lot of experience, right?
Yeah, I've experienced that myself. And specifically the thing that you mentioned about making it smaller in let's say bite-sized chunks, instead of just. And again, you have to see the whole picture as a whole, but then actually changing it, modernizing it, tackling it should be in small incremental steps, which is the way to go, in my opinion. And to go even further on that, you've talked about some considerations that companies have to make on deciding even whether to go to the cloud. Then it's about, well, with which vendor do I go, with which, well, whatever decisions they have to make. That's probably also why they come to you guys, sort of as being that partner who can see their business and decide like what is the best way to go, where to start. Can you dive us a bit deeper into some of the other considerations, or at least some of the questions or challenges that those clients have of yours, and why they come to you?
You hit the you hit the nail on that. You're spot on. It's the reason they come to you is because, first of all, we are multi-cloud vendor, and the other thing about us is that one of our superpowers is that we have worked with both software and cloud, and we have had that experience. So building very complex applications and being able to work with different industries. We have worked with healthcare, we have worked with media and entertainment, and all of that allows us to kind of look into it look into the requirements, see what the client is actually doing, and then give them the best possible solution for them. And as I said, it's not one solution fits all. Every case that we deal with is unique. Every requirement that we deal with is unique. But the reason they come to us, as I say, is that kind of superpower that we have, software development, as well as cloud. And within cloud, you have to be thinking out of the box, because there's a lot of things that comes with every cloud environment. There are security, reliability, there are lots of things. But I was having a conversation the other day with one of the US kind of account engineers, and he was mentioning that he has done something with serverless that nobody else has done. And looking at that, obviously they wanted to save cost, but the way they have done it is they have mixed a traditional kind of containers with serverless Lambda, and that has, I mean, that's out of the box thinking, which you need to do. It's not just going to the vendor and asking for a service or putting a service up. There's a lot of services around that you need to build and making sure that it fits for the customer. But I would say every business needs, in my opinion, needs to move to cloud. Not necessarily every single one, but most businesses need to move to cloud because there are obvious benefits for every business. And the sooner you do that, or at least the sooner you plan to do that, is better, because there's going to be a lot of changes, there's going to be a lot of things that you need to consider. And as we talked about it, it's going to be incremental, so it might take a long time. And you will be, one of the cons of that would be if you're moving incrementally and it takes a long time, then you're spending your money on two different environments, and that is going to cost you even more. So the sooner you do that, the better, and that's what we try to do. We try to accelerate their adoption and migration to cloud through our partnerships, and with those partnerships, we can also offer them a lot of incentives, a lot of programs that we do with, for example, AWS, that is offered by AWS through partners, and we can help them achieve what they need to without breaking the bank.
Yeah, and I think in the recent years, most companies have realized, of course, that they have to go to the cloud, that is the way to go instead of still remaining on-premise when it comes to a reliability and scalability ID. In tandem with that, and I know we already talked about that, about modernizing your application. So again, you can store them, you can operate them in the cloud, but the applications themselves have to be modernized as well. Can you talk us a little bit through the importance of continuously modernizing your applications, and what the real business value of doing that would actually be? Because most companies won't really realize what the, let's say, the bottom line benefits of actually modernizing their applications is. Can you talk us a little bit through that?
Of course. I mean, for me, there are two sides to this. One is the business benefits. One is the benefits that you don't realize. They're the hidden benefits, basically. So for the business itself, as I said, cost optimization, scalability, things you have mentioned as well. They're the key ones. You can do a lot more. You can go to market a lot faster with the things that you're trying to do with the new features, with a new application, with whatever it is that you're building. It will reduce the cost and also the time to market. But the hidden benefits are, you don't realize that with every modernization that you do, or making your application more cloud native, then you open doors for more possibilities, because there are a lot of services on cloud. Every single cloud vendor has more than 500, 300, some of them services, different services, and it's impossible to be to use them if your application is not built for cloud necessarily. So it will bring those kind of hidden benefits as well. You will be able to launch new things. For example, AI is the hot topic, right? A lot of businesses can start leveraging AI on AWS using AWS Bedrock, right? But their application needs to be on cloud to be able to do that. So that's a hidden gem that they don't know about. But once you do that, then it's a matter of just connecting a few services together to be able to leverage and build something completely new. So for me, it's those hidden benefits that actually where partners come in. Partners This is what we go through, a lot of training, certifications, a lot of training internally as well, to be able to kind of understand what's out there. How can we help businesses achieve different results, and of course benefit financially from it as well.
Yeah, that's actually another good point that you touched upon, and specifically with those developments around Gen AI. Of course, everyone thinks it's a silver bullet, and it's the thing that will, again, it will be a big thing, a big change. But what we see in the market as well is that the needs for more of the boring related IT related services, like data management, like those types of things, who most companies and most people deem pretty boring, we see a shift in there, that there is more need for those types of services, because when companies are starting to think about Gen AI and actually deploying it, they realize that their foundation is not in place, which is that data management, that data infrastructure, those types of things. So it's actually a very interesting shift in the market as well, in the new development, which is actually creating new demand for like the boring stuff, which is very interesting.
Yeah, this is one of the things I love. The things that other people think is boring, I love the challenge. I love to get into, energy industry itself, not every modern application would start from this industry, or even banking. But it's good, because this is where you see the challenger companies, even likes of Octopus Energy, who have also used our systems, but they have also built their own one, and that kind of encouraged them to go and buy a tech company that helps them do that, right? It is absolutely right. It's something you can't deny. You got to do that. You got to make sure that you do the boring stuff before you get to all the nitty-gritty of these fancy AI, generative AI things that are out there. Without it, you can't do that.
Indeed, you have to build a good foundation for the pyramid in order to actually be able to build it to the top.
100%.
I know we talked about energy. I know we talked about the industry, regulated industries. Can you give us some examples of, and again, most people already know about these systems, but some examples and maybe real life, real world stories of clients of yours, of specific applications that you help them modernize, and maybe what the benefit, the actual real result was of it?
Yeah, if I go into examples of the good ones, we have recently got engaged with a client that has been building. They have had a system built on a WordPress, and basically a custom development on a WordPress, which is, it's not bad, but it depends on what you're aiming to do. We have looked at that. This was a consultation service. So what they do is they review certain applications or documents, and then they provide feedback, and then people kind of submit their applications based on that feedback. But the one reason that they wanted to move into something new was to reduce the amount of manual work that they have to do. And every time they have been trying to add a functionality to that site or to that application, it took them a long time, 6 to 9 months. We have managed to rebuild the whole application for cloud in less than 3 months. And with that, we have also added the OCR element, which does a lot of document checking itself. It looks at the documents, it compares the documents, making sure that the information that you have provided is correct. This is where we say it's the opportunity. And since we have been kind of building the application for them, hosting it on cloud, the client has been coming up with new ideas, because they can see the potential, they can see what we can do. Or the other good example is where we have looked at a football club which we sponsor as part of our, it's a local football club, it's called Hartford Town. We are their technology partner, and the stadium is called Smile IT Stadium actually. But we have helped them to build something that could help them generate money through memberships, selling their kits, selling the tickets on their own platform, because they pay a lot of fees for other applications, and it was all disconnected. They had to have different types of applications to be able to sell tickets, venue tickets, events and everything, as well as the partnership. They didn't have any database. They wouldn't know how many people have attended their games, which all of these have some value and they can generate money from. So we built them an application that serves that purpose, and since then they're looking at expanding that to something more, and we are looking to help other kind of clubs at that, which are non-league clubs, to kind of be able to do that as well.
Wow. Well, thanks for sharing. And indeed, that's what you mentioned as well. Sometimes and that's what we're trying to do, of course, is getting that urgency or getting that realization of those hidden benefits within those companies. Maybe starting a pilot project, showing them the potential of it, and then using that momentum. They will use it themselves because they see the potential in investing more in such solutions and actually understanding what the real bottom line business value is of such optimizations.
Absolutely. And I mentioned before some of the benefits of it, like proof of concepts on cloud is something that we can help clients do without having to spend a lot of money to go into actually building something. You can just do a small proof of concept and to kind of convince the client that this is how it's going to be, this is how it works, these are the potentials, and as I said, you don't have to pay a lot of money for that proof of concept. It's just agreeing to or committing to continuing after that is required.
Exactly. I want to touch upon a different topic, and you've already introduced it a bit in the introduction. It's about leveraging, or at least creating partnerships with those cloud vendors, like Microsoft, like AWS. I think most companies, most people listening to this podcast probably are working with, well, at least some of the software or the solutions from whatever Microsoft, AWS, Google, Snowflake, you can count them up.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about what you think are the benefits of such partner programs and actually creating a win-win partnership with these types of cloud vendors?
Yeah, I mean, again, there are different types of benefits. Financially, if I would say, working with a partner, because working directly with these vendors is one thing that people don't realize that wouldn't give them the actual value. Because, I mean, these are big companies, these are huge, they have a large number of accounts that deal with, and they won't have that time for each and every client to manage and kind of be able to give them the value. And this is what they encourage it as well. They encourage you to work with a partner because that will give them also it will be a win-win for them because their client would get the best solution and best kind of benefits out of it. So financially, there is a motive that you, even for some of these services, it will cost you less to work with a partner than if you work directly, because the partners can also apply some of the best practices and some of the frameworks available to reduce the cost and help you do that. I mean, you might go in and turn on a service, but you might not necessarily have to spend that much money on that service. But that's something we realize because we have those expertise. So, and it wouldn't be possible unless you're a huge enterprise. You wouldn't have a cloud team within your organization that can have all those expertise. This is why, as partners, we are the one stop to go for different types of expertise that can bring the same benefits to you, to the clients. But also, I mentioned there are incentives, there are programs within those partnerships that businesses can leverage. For example, proof of concept within AWS, well-architected framework reviews, migration to the cloud. Migration to the cloud is a scary thing for a lot of organizations because they think it's going to cost them a lot of money. But it's not, because a lot of it is covered by the vendors. And that has been made possible through partnerships. So, which AWS, I mean, which we working with AWS in the past 2 years, we have managed to have that for our clients. And again, it's the adoption that is a bit scary. But once you realize that everything, the smallest thing a lot of companies can achieve is regulation and compliance, because clouds are based on these pillars that give you all of this out of the box. You can go to a page, you can upload your policies, put all of that on cloud, and then look at how compliant are you. Each and single environment or service is with the different standards within the world, NIST, FIPS, ISO, a lot of standards that you would have to do manually, or you have to buy a different piece of software to do that. But all of this comes out of the box. And also things like backups, things like, for example, backups of cloud services. People think that backup comes with the cloud. It doesn't. A lot of services on the cloud don't have backup. Even Microsoft 365 is the best example that everyone can resonate with. They don't have backups. But the reason you work with a partner is because we, as the experts, we see that need within the market, and we go and seek other partnerships apart from the main cloud vendors to kind of be able to give you those value-added services. We have partnership with another company which we just formed because their solution allows us to give our clients the confidence that they can back up everything on cloud, from cloud into cloud, and also be compliant. Or we get a lot of applications free of charge for our clients, things that they can look at and make sure that their licensing, their compliance, their documentation, everything is in one place. Those are the free packs of working with a partner that you wouldn't get if you go directly and work with these vendors.
Exactly, and you touched upon it already. It is about actually creating a win-win, because there is a win-win in these situations. It's not that you're pulling things out of the vendor, or that they are the only ones that have to provide you. Of course, it's from both ways. And what we sometimes see as well is that it's sort of a chicken and the egg problem, where both parties, like in one place the IT service provider and in the other hand the cloud vendor, are both waiting before the other party brings something to the table, before they bring something to the table. That's actually what we've been seeing as well. And what is it that maybe that you guys do differently, or what is it that you guys bring to the table for, in this case, AWS as well, that makes it a very fruitful partnership?
As I said, the cloud native development piece that we have, our software development experiences, building one of the biggest applications and complex applications on cloud, it has been an experience that we have learned a lot from. And from that experience, we have managed to kind of speed up our development, make sure that we don't repeat the same mistakes, and also be able to develop our developers. And this is one thing we invest a lot in, learning and development. Within Smile, we develop every single software developer that we had to learn cloud. We pay for certifications. We do a lot of things to make sure that our team has have the expertise to serve the clients at best. We have seen a lot of different use cases. We have worked with different services that we other kind of partners or other people might not get to experience. We have worked from IoT, within IoT as well, which is something that's interesting. Communications, working with modern workspaces, a lot of things combined into one solution, because we have made it. It was made complex as complex as possible. But also, I would say that we, for example, with AWS, we have been through an accelerated partner development program, which kind of means that we have been developing ourselves as a partner, a program that you normally do in 18 months. We have done it in 4 months. So we have graduated recently from that, which gives us that, again, it gives the client the win as well. So it's a win-win. Yeah. And I'll go back to the point you made. It's win-win because it's not something that you're getting out of the vendors. It's something that the vendors want you to do. They are spending a lot of money. They are spending a lot of their own money into kind of developing the partners, making sure that the partners could give those values back to clients. And that is why it's win-win, because we pass it on. It's nothing that we do special, but yeah.
Yeah. So any IT consulting, IT service companies listening, make sure to re-engage with your contacts at AWS, at Microsoft, because they're looking for you, they're waiting for you, and they want to find a way to work together. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing. Thanks for
No
sharing.
worries at all. Yeah.
Let's go a bit into looking into the future, maybe. Of course, as you mentioned, you've gone through all of the ranks. You've seen everything from the most technical stuff, and now also as a CEO, maybe setting the vision for the company as well. What do you see as the most relevant developments in the IT, the data, the cloud field that companies listening should be prepare for?
I mean, we touched upon a lot of them. Modernizing applications. I would urge everyone to kind of think about that, at least to start planning for that. If you're using, and a lot of it is being forced at the moment, like VMware or end of kind of life for a lot of licenses within Windows servers. A lot of things that happens that is pushing for that. And some companies suddenly realize, and some organizations suddenly realize that they just have to do it now. And it will cost them a lot more money than and lot more pain if they have planned it before. It wouldn't have happened. So I would encourage everyone to at least consider this, because again, there is no cost. There's no cost in testing the waters with a lot of services that's out there, especially through partners. But what I see the future as is traditionally developers need to especially traditional developers needs to consider these environments now, and need to kind of up their game, up their skills to make sure that they can develop for cloud, they can develop solutions that works with cloud. We see a lot of applications that were even successful to move into marketplaces on cloud. The reason being, even big companies, the reason being that they can serve clients better. They can make more money. They leverage all those win-win benefits that we talked about to kind of get more customers even. So for us, I think the vision is we're moving towards cloud, and that is definitely what we're doing. But we're not forgetting what we do best. So we are still developing applications. We're not gonna say because AI is here there will be no developers, or AI is going to replace developers. No, because it could be as good as you think it would be, but again, as I said, it's sitting down with a client, looking at what they're doing, understanding people's feeling even, that comes into developing the software. I have experienced that in my years of developing the software. The best kind of applications that I build comes out of me sitting down with a client and just listening to them. I don't write down anything. It's not a formal requirement gathering meeting. It's just listening to their pain and listening to their stories. So I don't believe in that, and that's why I still think that development is going to be there, but it might change. The form of it might change, and you need to develop for different environments, which has always. We were developing in DOS, and we were using NC, if you Norton Commander, if you remember that. But not you, but I do. So we moved away from that a lot, and today we're just using Visual Studio to do a lot of other things. You're pulling the repository and you do coding in there. It will change, and what my vision is that we make sure that the end-to-end process is on cloud as well. So we are moving all our developers to kind of build things for CI/CD on cloud, so everything happens on cloud, and you don't have to use multiple environments to do different things. But for companies, the vision, as I said, I'm trying to help a lot of SMBs move to cloud through AWS and other providers, but helping them understand the migration and adoption process, as well as the need for modernizing their applications. And that's the vision we're going to focus on. We're working with some industries that, again, some people might find it boring, like healthcare and also manufacturing, because there are a lot of legacy systems and opportunities there that we can transfer. I think you have something to say about that manufacturing. I mean, where you are from, it's manufacturing is a big thing, right?
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. In the Netherlands, yeah, there is a big manufacturing industry behind it as well. Maybe also agriculture is also a big thing. That is, of
Yeah.
course, legacy for, well, whatever reason as well, and highly regulated as well. Just as is healthcare, just as is energy and those types of financial industry as well. So there definitely is a need for modernization in most of those industries. And yeah, if someone is listening and wants to have that listening ear from you, just wants to have an open talk, wants to see how, well, cloud modernization would work for their company, where can they find you?
They can find us on the web, smileitsolutions.uk. That's our website. But also they can find me on LinkedIn, Ed Soltani. That's just simple. I think there's only one Ed Soltani in the world, so they won't get confused by finding anybody else. Yeah, there's only one. So if you hit me on LinkedIn, I'm very active on LinkedIn and trying to help a lot of businesses out there. So yeah, just let me know.
Perfect. Sounds good. Ed, I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope we got to share some interesting stuff for the audience. And yeah, I'm looking forward into those developments in cloud and modernization. And thanks for being on the show.
Yes, thank you very much for inviting me. I've enjoyed it a lot, and hopefully, yes, that this would be helpful to a lot of businesses and people listening out there. Thank you for having me on the podcast. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.